Hello, welcome to my spiritual sanctuary. My name is Sandra. Thank you for joining me this evening. Come on in, welcome in, welcome in, welcome if this is your first time. And if you've been here before, we're so glad that you decided to come back. So, welcome in, welcome in. Come on, sit down, relax. Today we're going to talk about the Master Key. I don't know if you've heard of the Master Key before. However, tonight we're going to be manifesting with the Master Key tonight. So this is my new video series called The Master Key Manifesting Monday. I hope you enjoy it. It is a 24-week series of lessons in which you get powerful in your mind, body, and spirit so that you can start to bring those things into your life that you would like. So it's a very powerful tool. And what I'm going to do tonight is just kind of give you a brief introduction. And we'll see, if we have time to go over part one. I will leave you with some exercises to work on. So each week that we meet, we'll be doing a different lesson. And as I said, there's 24. So I hope you will join me for all 24 lessons so that you can get the most impact out of the Master Key. So let me begin by showing you the text that you might want to purchase for this. This is the Master Key System by Charles Haniel. And then there's also a Master Key workbook that you can get. And this is by Anthony Mikulski and Robert Schmitz, okay? And you can use them in conjunction together, and they are very, very great tools to walk you through it. You can Google the part 1 through part 24, but what I would suggest is actually purchasing a text so you have it in front of you and you can utilize it at any time, okay? So let me get started. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Charles Haniel because he has been coming to me from the other side. He is deceased, and he is the creator of this Master Key system. Let me I'll just read it real briefly so you know a little bit about him. Now, Charles Haniel was a noted American author and businessman who belonged to the American Scientific League, the Authors League of America, the American Society of Psychical Research, and St. Louis Humane Society, and the St. Louis Chambers of Commerce. He was born in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and Charles F. Haniel began his business career in St. Louis. He resigned his position in order to start his own company, and he eventually founded one of the largest conglomerates of his time. He wrote several books which were published in St. Louis by Psychology Publishing and by his Master Key Institute in New York. Mr. Haniel put into books the ideas and methods he used to gain his success. Besides the Master Key system, he also wrote Mental Chemistry and the New Psychology. Now, the Master Key system has sold over 200,000 copies and then seemingly disappeared. The Master Key system is one of the finest studies in self-improvement and higher consciousness ever written, covering everything from how to get wealthy to how to get healthy. Mr. Haniel leaves no stone unturned. With precision, he elucidates on each topic with logic and rigor that not only leaves you feeling good, but also thinking good. The book was banned by the church and has been hidden away for 70 years. And then rumor has it that while he was attending Harvard University, Bill Gates discovered and read The Master Key System by Charles F. Haniel. It was this book that inspired Bill Gates to drop out of the university and pursue his dream of a computer on every desktop. So you probably know the results of that, right? It is Silicon Valley's secret that almost every entrepreneur who made a fortune in recent years did so by studying the words Mr. Haniel penned over 80 years ago. Almost every millionaire and billionaire in the Valley read The Master Key System by Charles F. Haniel. Since this book was no longer in print until recently, copies of the Master Key System became a hot commodity in the Valley. Now, the Master Key System is a system that teaches the ultimate principles, causes, effects, and laws that underlie all attainment and success. So when you want to attain something, the Master Key System will show you how to get it. The results you will attain from using this system are so startling as to appear incredible. So for this reason, more and more people are becoming students of the Master Key System than ever before. In 24 parts, the Master Key sets out the fundamental principles of life and creative living as Haniel came to understand and apply them. Basic to his teaching is the correct development and use of mental power. The key to truly creative power and action, harmony and health, love and happiness, and abundant possibilities. Each part is meant to be studied like a correspondence course lesson. But this is also a book that can be opened at random for whatever gem of advice your eyes happen to fall upon. This age-old wisdom was written by someone who could perceive and tap into the universal mind, but who seems to have no particular allegiance to any specific system of knowledge. Haniel's numbered common sense messages still have a freshness 89 years after they were first assembled. Walter B. Stevens described Mr. Haniel as a man of mature judgment, capable of taking a calm survey of life and correctly valuing its opportunities, its possibilities, its demands, and obligations. So the Master Key will take you through an introduction when you first open the book. And it basically talks about right thinking and using the concept of thought and mind to create your truths and to bring mental mastery together with mind, body, and spirit. It's increasing your consciousness to a higher level. And the student will find that the laws governing in the mental and spiritual world are as fixed and infallible as in the material world. To secure the desired results, then, it is necessary to know the law and to comply with it. A proper compliance with the law will be found to produce the desired result with invariable exactitude. So the student who learns that power comes from within, we always talk about how the power comes from within, not from without, right? So the student who learns that the power comes from within, that he is weak only because he has depended on help from the outside, and who unhesitatingly throws himself on his own thought, instantly rights himself, stands erect and assumes a dominant attitude and works miracles. Of course, your mind can create negative conditions just as readily as favorable conditions. And when we consciously or unconsciously visualize every kind of lack, limitation, and discord, we create these conditions. This is what many are unconsciously doing all the time. So it's very important that we think positively and always aware of our thoughts. So if you have a thought that comes through that you think, well, I don't know, that is not going to serve me, this thought is not for my highest good, then what you want to do is you want to say, cancel clear that thought and remove it and replace it with a more positive thought in its place, okay? So abundance, therefore, depends upon a recognition of laws of abundance and the fact that mind is not only the creator, but the only creator of all there is. Okay, and also there is a higher power, we know, as we all know. However, we have to be in alignment with the higher power of the higher consciousness. So that's kind of the premise of the Master Key. So I will read a little bit more. Now, the Master Key is based on absolute scientific truth and will unfold the possibilities that lie dormant in the individual and teach you how they may be brought into powerful action to increase the person's effectiveness, capacity, bringing added energy, discernment, vigor, and mental elasticity. It explains the correct use of both the receptive and active elements of the mental nature and instructs the student in the recognition of opportunity. It strengthens the will and reasoning powers and teaches the cultivation and best use of your imagination, your desire, the emotions, and the institutional faculty. And the Master Key teaches the power of the mind, the true mind power. Not any of the substitutes and perversions. It has nothing to do with hypnotism, magic, or anything more or less fascinating deceptions by which many are led to think that something can be had for nothing. That is not true. The Master Key cultivates and develops the understanding which will enable you to control the body and therefore your health. It improves and strengthens your memory. It develops insight, the kind of insight which is so rare, the kind which is the distinguishing characteristic of every successful businessman, the kind which enables men to see the possibilities as well as the difficulties in every situation, and the kind which enables men to see the possibilities as well as the difficulties in every situation. The Master Key develops mental power, which means that others instinctively recognize that you are a person of force, of character, that they want to do what you want them to do. It means that you attract more men coming in and people coming into your life that want to do business with you. And it awakens your buried talents and treasures inside you and supplies you with initiative, force, energy, vitality, and it awakens an appreciation of the beauty in art, literature, and science. That's beautiful. So there's more to read, and you can get the book and go over everything and read in depth of all of the foreword of the book and all about Mr. Haniel. I'm going to jump right into part 1 because it is quite long. And at the end, there are some study questions with some answers. So I'm going to read it through, and then you will have it on the video so that you can listen to it over and over this week. So when you're re-listening to it this week, you can take all the principles in every cell of your body. It's going into your unconscious mind. Therefore, your consciousness is being raised. You're going to start to think differently. You're going to have more mental power, mental mastery. And that is the key right now in our society, is mental mastery, because we can have all of the tools and techniques in the world, but if our mind is not strong, if we don't have mastery over our mind and our emotions, then we are not in control. And then, therefore, the outcomes that we're looking to create will not happen. So mental mastery, emotional intelligence, mental intelligence, anybody can do this. You don't have to be a genius. It's just a question of realizing the principles. So let's get started. Introduction to Part 1. It is my privilege to enclose here Part 1 of the Master Key System. Would you bring into your life more power, get the power consciousness, more health, get the health consciousness, more happiness, get the happiness consciousness, live the spirit of these things until they become yours by right. It will then become impossible to keep them from you. The things of the world are fluid to a power within man or women by which they rule them. You need not acquire this power. You already have it inside you. But you want to understand it. You want to use it. You want to control it. You want to impregnate yourself with it so that you can go forward and carry the world before you. Day by day, as you go on and on, as you gain momentum, as your inspiration deepens, as your plans crystallize, as you gain understanding, you will come to realize that this world is no dead pile of stones and timber, but that it is a living thing. It is made up of the beating hearts of humanity. It is a thing of life and beauty. It is evident that it requires understanding to work with material of this description, but those who come into this understanding are inspired by a new light, a new force. They gain confidence and greater power each day. They realize their hopes and their dreams come true. Life has a deeper, fuller, clearer meaning than before. Now, Part 1. Number 1. And these are enumerations 1 through, these are the principles. There's quite a few of them, and I'm going to go through each one of them. 1 through 45. 1. That much gathers more is true on every plane of existence, and that loss leads to greater loss is equally true. 2. Mind is creative, and conditions, environment, and all experiences in life are the result of our habitual or predominant mental attitude. 3. The attitude of mind necessarily depends upon what we think. Therefore, the secret of all power, all achievement, and all possession depends upon our method of thinking. 4. It is true because we must be before we can do, and we can do only to the extent that we are. And what we are depends upon what we think. We cannot express 5. We cannot express powers that we do not possess. The only way by which we may secure possession of power is to become conscious of power. And we can never become conscious of power until we learn that all power comes from within. 6. There is a world within, a world of thought and feeling and power, of light and life and beauty, and although invisible, its forces are mighty. 7. The world within is governed by mind. When we discover this world, we find the solution for every problem, the cause for every effect, and since the world within is subject to our control, all laws of power and possession are also within our control. 8. The world without is a reflection of the world within. What appears without is what has been found within. In the world within may be found infinite wisdom, infinite power, infinite supply of all there is necessary, waiting for unfoldment, development, and expression. If we recognize these potentialities in the world within, they will take form in the world without. 9. Harmony in the world within will be reflected in the world without by harmonious conditions, agreeable surroundings, the best of everything. It is the foundation of health and a necessary essential to all greatness, all power, all attainment, all achievement, and all success. 10. Harmony in the world within means the ability to control our thoughts and to determine for ourselves how any experience is to affect us. 11. Harmony in the world within results in optimism and affluence. Affluence within results in affluence without. 12. The world without reflects the circumstances and the conditions of the consciousness within. 13. If we find wisdom in the world within, we shall have the understanding to discern the marvelous possibilities that are latent in this world within, and we shall be given the power to make these possibilities manifest in the world without. 14. As we become conscious of the wisdom in the world within, we mentally take possession of this wisdom. And by taking mental possession, we come into actual possession of the power and wisdom necessary to bring into manifestation the essentials necessary for our most complete and harmonious development. 15. The world within is the practical world in which the men and women of power generate courage, hope, enthusiasm, confidence, trust, and faith, by which they are given the fine intelligence to see the vision and the practical skill to make the vision real. 16. Life is an unfoldment, not an accretion. What comes to us in the world without is what we already possess in the world within. 17. All possession is based on consciousness. All gain is the result of an accumulated consciousness. All loss is the result of a scattering consciousness. 18. Mental efficiency is contingent upon harmony. Discord means confusion. Therefore, he who would acquire power must be in harmony with natural law. 19. We are related to the world without by the objective mind. The brain is the organ of this mind, and the cerebrospinal system of nerves puts us in conscious communication with every part of the body. This system of nerves responds to every sensation of light, heat, odor, sound, and taste. 20. When this mind thinks correctly, when it understands the truth, when the thoughts sent through the cerebrospinal nervous system to the body are constructive, these sensations are pleasant and harmonious. 21. The result is that we build strength, vitality, and all constructive forces into our body, but it is through the same objective mind that all distress, sickness, lack, limitation, and every form of discord and inharmony is admitted to our lives. It is therefore through the objective mind, by wrong thinking, that we are related to all destructive forces. 22. We are related to the world within by the subconscious mind. The solar plexus is the organ of this mind. Interesting, the solar plexus is the third chakra. The sympathetic system of nerves presides over all subjective sensations such as joy, fear, love, emotion, respiration, imagination, and all other subconscious phenomena. It is through the subconscious that we are connected with the universal mind and brought into relation with the infinite constructive forces of the universe, the divine. 23. It is the coordination of these two centers of our being and the understanding of their functions, which is the great secret of life. With this knowledge, we can bring the objective and subjective minds into consciousness, cooperation, and thus coordinate the finite and the infinite. Our future is entirely within our own control. It is not at the mercy of any capricious or uncertain external power. 24. All agree that there is but one principle or consciousness pervading the entire universe, occupying all space and being essentially the same in kind at every point of its presence. It is all-powerful, all-wisdom, and always present. All thoughts and things are within itself. It is all and all. 25. There is but one consciousness in the universe able to think, and when it thinks, its thoughts become objective things to it. As this consciousness is omnipresent, it must be present within every individual. Each individual must be a manifestation of the omnipresent, omniscient, and omnipresent consciousness. As 26. As there is only one consciousness in the universe that is able to think, it necessarily follows that your consciousness is identical with the universal consciousness. Or in other words, all mind is one mind. There is no dodging this conclusion. Fifth dimension, we're all one. 27. The consciousness that focuses in your brain cells is the same consciousness which focuses in the brain cells of every other individual. Each individual is but the individualism of the universal, the cosmic mind, the one mind. 28. The universal mind is static or potential energy. It simply is. It can manifest only through the individual, and the individual can manifest only through the universal. They are one. 29. The ability of the individual to think is his ability to act on the universal and bring it into manifestation. Human consciousness consists only in the ability of man to think. Mind in itself is believed to be a subtle form of static energy from which arises the activities called thought, which is the dynamic phase of mind. Mind is static energy. Thought is dynamic energy. The two phases of the same thing. Thought is therefore the vibratory force formed by converting static mind into dynamic mind. 30. As the sum of all attributes are contained in the universal mind, which is omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent, these attributes must be present at all times in their potential form in every individual. Therefore, when the individual thinks, the thought is compelled by its nature to embody itself in an objectivity or condition which will correspond with its origin, connecting to the divine. 31. Every thought, therefore, is a cause in every condition and effect. For this reason, it is absolutely essential that you control your thoughts so as to bring forth only desirable conditions. 32. All power is from within and is absolutely under your control. It comes through exact knowledge and by the voluntary exercise of exact principles. 33. It should be plain that when you acquire a thorough understanding of this law and are able to control your thought processes, you can apply it to any condition. In other words, you will have come into conscious cooperation with the omnipotent law, which is the fundamental basis of all things. 34. The universal mind is the life principle of every atom which is in existence. Every atom is continually striving to manifest more life. All are intelligent, and all are seeking to carry out the purpose for which they were created. 35. A majority of mankind lives in the world without. Few have found the world within, and yet it is the world within that makes the world without. It is therefore creative, and everything which you find in your world without has been created by you in the world within. 36. This system will bring you into a realization of power, which will be yours when you understand this relation between the world without and the world within. The world within is the cause, the world without the effect. To change the effect, you must change the cause. 37. You will at once see that this is a radically new and different idea. Most men try to change effects by working with effects. They fail to see that this is simply changing one's form of distress for another. To remove discord, you must remove the cause, and this cause can be found only in the world within. 38. All growth is from within. This is evident in all nature. Every plant, every animal, every human is a living testimony to this great law. And the error of the ages is in looking for strength or power from without. 39. The world within is the universal foundation of supply, and the world without is the outlet to the stream. Our ability to receive depends upon our recognition of the universal fountain, this infinite energy of which each individual is an outlet, and so is one with every other individual. 40. Recognition is a mental process. Mental action is therefore the interaction of the individual upon the universal mind. And as the universal mind is the intelligence which pervades all space and animates all living things, this mental action and reaction is the law of causation. But the principle of causation does not obtain in the individual, but in the universal mind. It is not an objective, faulty, but a subjective process, and the results are seen in an infinite variety of conditions and experiences. 41. In order to express life, there must be mind. Nothing can exist without the mind. Everything which exists is some manifestation of this one basic substance from which and by which all things have been created and are continually being recreated. 42. We live in a fathomless sea of plastic mind substance. This substance is ever alive and active. It is sensitive to the highest degree. It takes form according to the mental demand. Thought forms the mold or matrix from which the substance expresses. 43. Remember that it is in the application alone that the value consists, and that a practical understanding of this law will substitute abundance for poverty, wisdom for ignorance, harmony for discord, and freedom for tyranny. And certainly there can be no greater blessing than these form from a material and social standpoint. 44. Now make the application. Select a room where you can be alone and undisturbed. Sit erect, comfortably, but do not lounge. Let your thoughts roam, where they will be perfectly still for about 15 minutes to a half an hour. Continue this for 3 or 4 days, or for a week until you secure full control of your physical being. Many will find this extremely difficult. Others will conquer it with ease. But it is absolutely essential to secure complete control of the body before you are ready to progress to the next step. Next week, you will receive instructions for the next step. In the meantime, you must have mastered this one. So at the end of part 1, there are some study questions. 1, what is the world without in its relation to the world within? 2, upon what does all possession depend? 3, how is the individual related to the objective world? 4, how is he related to the universal mind? 5, what is the universal mind? 6, how can the individual act on the universal? 7, what is the result of this action and interaction? And 8, how are harmonious and desirable conditions secured? 9, what is the cause of all discord, disharmony, lack, and limitation? And 10, what is the source of all power? Okay, and next week I'll read the answers, but what I would like you to do for this week is to go ahead and listen to this tape every night for the next week. And then do that meditation, as they said at the end, until you have complete control, okay, over the mental process. And then answer those questions. And next week, on Monday, we'll be doing part 2. So each week we'll be doing the next step. So you have all week to practice this one, and you'll begin to see it show up in your life, okay? So you're going to start to change as a result of having the power come from within instead of without. And since we have an election this week, this is a perfect time to practice that. So I will leave you with that. We're almost at about 38 minutes right now. If you have any questions for me, please go ahead and email at myspiritualsanctuaryinfo@gmail.com. Please like, share, and subscribe, and hit the bell so that you get the notification for week 2's video coming out next week. Okay? You won't want to miss it. And I will be doing all the rest of the readings. You'll see a schedule below of the readings that I'll be doing for this week for all of the astrology signs, okay? And we'll see what shows up for you this week. All right, my friends. It's been a joy and a pleasure to share the Master Key with you this evening. I just love it. I'm doing it myself, too. I'm doing it right along with you, okay? Looking for some real positive changes towards this end of this year so we can move forward in a much stronger way into 2021. Okay? So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed our little time together this evening. And I just want to say I've thoroughly enjoyed being with you. And if you would like some personal coaching on the Master Key, I'm always available for that as well. So until we meet again, my friends, namaste.